Full of this idea, Jack hastened to tell his mother. She would gladly have held him back, but she saw at last that the time had come when she must let him go forth to make his way in the world. At once he set out. He climbed and he climbed and he climbed. He began to grow weary, but still he climbed and he climbed. He grew very weary indeed, but still he climbed. So at last he reached the top and stepped off into a strange country. It seemed to be a rocky, barren place. Not a tree, shrub, house, or living creature was to be seen anywhere about. Jack sat himself down thoughtfully on a block of stone to rest. He was very, very hungry, for he had had nothing to eat since noon of the day before, but still he thought most of the hope that now at last he had reached the place where he should find his task. Suddenly, as he was thinking, lo and behold, there appeared before him a queer little old lady. She wore a pointed cap of quilted red satin, turned up with ermine. Her hair streamed loosely over her shoulders, and in her hand she carried a wand. "Jack," she said as she drew near him, "I am a fairy. Your sorrow for your folly and idleness, and your wish at last to perform some worthy task, made your beans sprout and formed the ladder that brought you to me. Had you only looked at the gigantic beanstalk and stupidly wondered about it, you would never have found me. But you showed an inquiring mind, great courage and enterprise. Therefore you deserve to rise. It is my business to tell you what great things you have to do here. The story I am about to relate your mother has never dared to tell you. Lad though you are, the chance lies before you to do the deeds of a man." Jack held his breath with interest and astonishment while the fairy continued. "Your father was a rich man with a greatly generous nature. It was his practice to be kind to everyone about him, to help not only those who asked his aid, but all besides who needed anything. So good a man was he that he roused the anger of a huge giant who lived nearby. This creature was the embodiment of cruelty and wickedness, so of course he could not bear to hear others talked of for their goodness. Hearing that your parents were about to pass a few days with a friend at some distance from home, he caused them to be waylaid, seized, bound hand and foot. Then he went forward, drove out your father's servants, and took possession of your castle. At the time all this happened, you were but a few months old, and with your mother and father, you were cast by the giant into the deepest dungeon of the castle. There you all three lay for months. But at last the giant offered to restore you and your mother to liberty on condition that she would solemnly swear never to tell anyone the story of her wrongs. To put it out of her power to do him any harm, the giant had placed on shipboard with you in her arms and taken to a distant country. There she was left with no more money for her support than what she got by selling a few jewels she had hidden in her dress. Now the giant lives in this country and still keeps your father prisoner in the castle. You are the person who must set him free and restore to him his goods. All that the giant has is yours. Regain what you can. You will meet with dangers and difficulties, but you must have courage and stick to your task. Moreover, you must do nothing rashly, but use wisdom at all times. Remember, right and justice are with you, and before these wickedness cannot stand. If you go forward fearlessly, sure in this knowledge, then you will be one of those who conquer giants."